Hey Jim, I'm not a physician, I'm a software engineer, but lurking around in the WCI YouTube channel has given me a lot of value, so thank you very much for that. I hope you don't mind me asking a question here. My question essentially is, should I financially plan for the future that I want or the future that might end up happening? The future that I want is to get married and buy a house and start a family and all that good stuff. The future that might be is that after my breakup last year, I'm feeling hopeless about my relationship future, and the thought has crossed my mind that I might be single for the rest of my life. I am 33 and I maximize my mega backdoor, regular backdoor, and 401k contributions right now while living in my rent controlled apartment. However, if I end up marrying and buying a house, starting a family, and all the stuff that I want to do, then I feel like I might need all this cash to not be tied up in retirement accounts and be available so that I can make down payments and things like that. Would you suggest that I diversify my saving strategies? Thanks.
I like the way you phrase this. Should I plan for the future I want or the future that may end up happening? I empathize with your situation of not knowing the future. The downside, of course, if you knew what the whole rest of your life entailed, would you really want to know it right now? I mean, for example, if you knew how you're going to die, when and how, would you really want that information? Probably not. That's part of the fun of life, is having that mystery hanging out there, right? But in this case, your question basically boils down to, should you not max out retirement accounts in order to have money in a taxable account or in cash or whatever that's available for shorter term purchases? I think in this situation where you're not engaged to be married, it doesn't sound like you even have a partner right now, I don't think I'd bother doing that. I think max out the retirement accounts. But the key, of course, is to maintain flexibility. You can always withdraw Roth IRA contributions. You can withdraw up to $10,000 in earnings for a house down payment. You can borrow $50,000 out of your 401k. And when you get in a serious relationship where you're starting to go, okay, I'm going to need money for a wedding and a honeymoon and a ring and, a new house and all that sort of stuff, you can start saving up at that point. Lots of people are engaged for many months or even years. It gives you lots of time to save up for those expenses, especially if you've got a good savings habit. The other thing to keep in mind is if you do get in a serious relationship, you get married down the line, whatever, your partner may bring cash to that relationship. And maybe you're bringing the retirement accounts to the relationship. So you'd be perfectly fine in that situation. You'd really regret not having maxed out your retirement accounts if that were the case. But I'd be pretty hesitant to pass on the known tax and asset protection benefits of retirement accounts because you might at some future date need a little bit of cash. If you're really worried about it, you keep a little bigger emergency fund, maybe 6 months instead of 3 months as some sort of a compromise. But for the most part, operate under the way your life currently is, under current tax law. And usually that means maxing out your retirement accounts with your savings. If you want your questions answered by the White Coat Investor, record your question at whitecoatinvestor.com/YQA or click the link in the description.